Well folks, Bruce here from the Coasters Club, and I'm in a sunny Kokatahi today, and I've had the pleasure of catching up with Murray Weiblitz. Now, Murray lives in Nelson these days, and Murray, thanks so much for taking the time to come in and have a chat and sharing a bit of your history with the members of our Coasters Club.
Yes, I feel very privileged to do it, and the Coasters are very special memories for me, and I just love coming back here.
Yeah, well look, what's your full name?
Murray Robert Weiblitz.
Did you have a nickname when you were growing up?
Yeah, Muzz. Everybody called me Muzz.
Muzz?
Yeah, M-U-Z.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'm still referred to as Muzz. Yeah.
Yeah. Where were you born?
In Kokatahi. Yep.
And was that in Hampden Street?
Hampden Street, that is correct. Yep. Yeah, 1943 it was.
Oh, you're in good nick for a 1943 model.
Oh, you know, do your best.
That's great.
It's a lifestyle you lead.
Who were your mum and dad?
Bob Weiblitz, or Robert Weiblitz was his name, and he married Olive Amberger. And they were the next door neighbours, so Dad just jumped the fence and met Mum, and they married way back, and I can't tell you what year, to tell you the truth.
So, and what did they do? They were farmers?
Absolutely, yeah. Dad farmed. Well, yeah, Dad farmed at Kokatahi. He took over the parents' farm when they got married, and it's where the Crocodile School is. The Crocodile School was actually built in part of the farm at Kokatahi, yeah. So,
Amberger, you must be related to Coxie.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's my first cousin.
And probably half the valley, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So, your parents were farmers.
Yes.
Where did they meet? Just
next door, yeah.
And that was
the Ambergers were farming right next door.
Right.
And Dad just met Mum, and they fell in love, and that's where it all started, yeah.
So, and where was your first home?
At Kokatahi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whereabouts, you know, so
behind the school.
Oh yes, I know where the school is. So
yeah, so it was back down over further, and there used to be Duck Creek used to overflow, and flood around the front of the house and all that sort of thing, and used to have the tractor to take the cream out in the morning and all that sort of thing when the flood was on. Yeah.
Now tell me, when you were growing up, what did you do? How many kids were there?
They finished up 7 in our family, actually, 7 children.
Yeah, a bit of a good effort there, mate.
Yeah, there was 4 of us, and then another 3 came along later.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you do for fun?
What did we do for fun?
Did you have an iPad?
Never had an iPad. We just did so many, you know, we used to have horses. We just loved farming. We used to go down the river, swim in the river, you know, and we'd even all the local kids would get down and we'd have sod fights at times down the river. And, oh, yes, some great times.
And so, as youngsters, who was? Do you just go down the river and was it common sense that kept you alive?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. There was no work safe programs, that's for sure. But thinking about that, you know, we had so many activities out there. You know, we had the Kokatahi sports and the Kokatahi sports. We had calf days at school and all that sort of thing. There was always plenty happening out there. It was a great community.
Yeah, one of the things that comes through really clear in lots of the interviews I do is that the Kokatahi, Kokatahi area had just the most amazing community spirit.
There was 3 schools out there when we first started.
Oh, wow.
Upper Kokatahi, Lower Kokatahi and Kokatahi.
Right.
And the rivalry between all the schools. You know, we used to have relays and all that sort of thing at the school sports and all that. At the sports, wherever we had them, you know. That was tremendous.
Yeah. Someone told me that there was a huge rivalry out there, but the minute you come to town, it was all you fellas against the townies.
We were all mates. Sure, you know. It was like when we played rugby. You know, we played rugby right through. And I always remember that when Kokatahi played Ross, we used to go down there. And at half time, we'd go and start talking to the Ross boys, what are we going to do tonight? You know, and John Colvin, our coach, is going, right, you guys should still play this game.
Yeah. Actually, Ross had good solid rugby teams too, didn't they?
Yeah, we managed to beat them most of the time, though.
Yeah, good.
Kokatahi was a good team.
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
Was there ever a chore that you had as a kid that you actually didn't like doing? Do you remember one?
No. we just loved life at the farm. It was just, everything was just, it was great to be there.
Great time in the 50s, wasn't it, to be
absolutely wonderful. I don't think there was any other bad time. Yeah.
So, did you? Were you a book reader? Did you read books?
Not so much in those days because you were just outside doing something all the time. You know, it was just a great activities.
So, a day that there was no school, how did the day go?
Oh, you'd get up and help milk in the morning. You know, when we were young kids, we always helped milk in the morning.
Was it like it is now, early, very early, or was it?
Oh, yeah, you would have been up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, and you'd just glad to go out and help milk. You know, I can remember our next door neighbour Wally Mahari. He got lepto one time, and I think I was in about standard 4, and Joyce and I milked those cows for ages together, you know, just until he got well again. You know, it's just something you did, you know, it's just life.
So you milked the cows, what happened then?
No, you go to school.
Well, what about in the weekend?
On the weekend, you would go and play rugby, or you'd be involved. We had a tennis club out of Kokatahi in those days, yeah. You used to go and play tennis, and otherwise you'd go swimming, and then you'd go haymaking in the summertime. You know, that was one thing as you were sort of a teenager. Yeah. All us young lads used to go out and help get hay in around the valley, and that was they were great times. Yeah.
That biffing hay bales on the back of a trailer's not easy work.
No, well, I can go back to even before that, even before Weiblitz come on the job, and we used to have a horse and dray, and we put crate on there. My brother John and I would tramp the hay as they pitchforked it up to us. Yeah. And then when we were making silage, we used to have the old pole, and the horse used to go backwards and forwards with the grab and take it up, and they'd build the silage stacks. And I always used to have the job of taking the horse backwards and forwards, you know, even when you're a young fella, that was your job, you know. And then George Armstrong, or Archie Little, one of them, turned up with a Massey Harris pony tractor one day, and they unhooked the horse and put the tractor on it, and that was the end of my job. I was really quite sad about that.
So were the draft horses?
Yes, or? Absolutely. Yeah, Dad had draft horses. I remember the first tractor arriving on the farm one day. We were at school. The next thing, this tractor went up the driveway, and there was a guy called Mervyn Ward. He looked at, he says, "Well, Weiblitz has got a tractor." So this was in the early 50s. Yeah.
I was in Karamea a week ago, and went into Tony Johnson's place. Yes, Tony's got the first Massey Ferguson that came to New Zealand.
Yep. I didn't know that, but I have. I haven't actually been, but I've heard all about it.
Oh, the sheds! Oh, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I've seen the sheds. Yes.
So, which of the primary schools did you go to? It was the Crocodile School.
Crocodile Primary School. Bert Upjohn was their teacher. Right. And he was a great community guy, and yes. Yeah, no, he was, and then Alec Baltrop came along, and he was a second teacher. There was only one teacher school for a start, then it became a 2-teacher school. Yeah. And they were great teachers, both those guys. I've never forgotten them.
It's still an amazing school today.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well maintained. Yeah. They get great results. They just seem to produce the results. Where'd you go to high school?
Western High.
And what was that called then? Something technical college? Or?
No, just Western High, I think it was. Yeah, Western High School. That's what it was called. That's correct.
And you recall any of the people that you went to Western High with? Can you?
Yes, I'm class of 58. We still have reunions now, and they've got one on the 24th of November this year in Christchurch. All right. Doug Jack, he's organised it this year, but I'm not going to it. But I have been to the odd one. I see Nelson Bradley, a local boy here, is in my class at school. Right. And we stop and have a yarn about the old days.
Nelson just sold his shop.
I believe so, yes.
And he's going to retire. So
that's right. It's about time too.
I didn't think that had ever happened.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So, did you, after you left high school, did you go into university or take up a trade or anything like that?
No. Well, my second year at high school, the report said if this child wishes to attend school next year, he must attend more regularly because we stayed home. And this leads me to another story that is very dear in my heart, is that when first year of high school, our house got burnt down, and that was at Easter, and then in August, my mother was pregnant with the seventh child, and we lost her out of the Hamlin Street nursing home. She disappeared out of there, and we never found her body. And we'd had a house burnt down, so school wasn't a very important thing. It was getting a house built and keeping the family together, and I spent a lot of time at home helping Dad at that time.
So your mum just disappeared?
Yes, yes.
God, that must have been devastating.
She'd been a very sick lady, and she was quite depressed, and it wasn't recognised in those times. And yes, it was a hell of a time.
So Murray, how did you get on? How did your dad get on? Looking after, because he had 6 of you at home.
Yeah, and Herbie Winter and Betty, they took Lance and looked after him until he was about 4 years old, I believe.
Right.
And then he came home, and we survived. You know, it was pretty hard, but...
Did you ever go hungry?
Never been hungry.
It tells you something about your father.
That's right, and we were quite poor at that time, you know. The Bird Up John organised for 2 or 3 people to be there. Dad's brother was building the house, Ron Weiblitz, he's another well-known Kokatahi boy. Ah. And he was there, but they had people there from the valley helping every day till that house was finished. It was organised through Bird Up John. And it was many years later I come down to a Graham reunion, and I went there, and most of the valley from my time were all at this thing, so somehow or other we're all related just about. So I've never ever forgotten that, you know, and the coast is still very much in my heart.
It's pretty, you know.
Yeah.
And tell me, at either primary school or at secondary school, was there a teacher that you remember who made a difference?
Bird Up John definitely did. He taught us the old-fashioned way, you know, your arithmetic-y flashcards at us, you know, and you had to know your multiplying tables and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then at high school, Stan Hunter, he was another good teacher for us guys. A.V. O'Brien.
Why do they stick in your mind?
Just because they had special memories. I think probably when my second year at high school, I was sort of a bit of a trouble boy, and old A.V. Ryan used to take me aside and give me a bit of a talking to, and kept you on the straight and narrow way, I presume. Yeah.
I'm not surprised you'd be troubled. I mean, who wouldn't be?
That's right.
Who wouldn't be?
Mm.
With the school activities, did you? What sort of sports did you play?
Rugby. I did actually play for the first 15 second year at school.
What position?
I think that's why I played. I was a hooker. Yeah.
I say you're a solid fella.
Oh, yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were you any good?
No, I played for West Coast. Yeah, West Coast Juniors. I played for them before I shifted to Nelson.
Oh wow.
Yeah. With Kenny Beams and Brian Chin and a few other guys. Max Graham, Dick Harcourt and I. Yeah.
Goodness me, they're all well-known names.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And were they all on the West Coast team?
Yes. Yeah, the juniors at this stage. You know, we were probably 18, 19, I suppose. Yeah.
If you had a close friend when you were at high school, how would he have described you? Were you outgoing? Were you a ratbag? Were you know how would your mate have described you?
Oh, that's a difficult question, Bruce. I never thought about it too much. We always got on well, you know.
So you're pretty good with people.
Yes.
I can pick that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were a kid, was there anything you wanted to be when you grew up?
Yeah, farmer.
So you're always going to be a farmer.
Absolutely. Yep. Never had dreamed of anything else.
And so when you realised that you had to leave school and actually earn a living, like the rest of us have gone through, what was your first job?
Home work for Dad.
Yep.
£3 a week. And to get ahead, I also become an AV technician.
What's that?
Artificial breeding with cows.
Oh, okay.
Yep, insemination.
Yeah.
And I used to go around and mark pigs for CFM as well. around the Crocodile School. I used to go and mark pigs for them.
And what does that mean?
You'd go around and CFM were a freezing works over in Canterbury.
Right.
And I would go around the valley, and anybody who wanted to sell to them, I'd earmark them and organise the transport for them and send them over there. And then I'd get paid a small commission. So that's how I topped up the wages so I could afford to keep up with the other boys at the valley.
And so how long did you carry on the farm?
Till I got married, which was 21. Dad couldn't afford to pay me a very big wage, and at that time I was earning £9 a week, and engaged to my wife Helen, who was Helen Wall from Kokatahi. I must put that in. And I said, Dad, I can't stay here any longer. And so he put the farm on the market, and then he, when it was time to sell it, he said, oh, there must be some way you can get this farm, son. And I said, look, there's another 6 in the family. I said, that just won't work, Dad. So he sold it to a guy called Rex Tomlinson from Nelson.
Right.
And they took over the farm, and then I think he sold it to Kevin Bradley, another local guy here. And
so Rex had the store out there at one stage, didn't he? Did he?
Yes, he did buy that up, and he went off the farm. That is correct. Yeah. So anyway, I went to share milk for Jock Beard, further up the valley.
Right.
And we had 4 years there. The first 2 years we were a couple of Western Dairy, and relationship broke down a wee bit, and I ended up shipping to Nelson.
So what did you do in Nelson?
I ended up running a town supply farm up there for a guy that broke his back, and I ran that for 4 years. And the first year I shifted back to the coast because it was too dry up there. I couldn't cope. I just could not cope with no rain, you know. So anyway, I got onto this town supply farm, and I managed to squirt some water around with irrigation, and I settled down after that and stayed there. But I had that, and then I bought a rundown property, which was a bit of a market garden, and we tidied that up, and I finished up doing 30 years of market gardening.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
So you're still farming, aren't you, really?
Absolutely.
Just in a different way.
It used to be interesting. I was farming 3 acres up there with glass houses on, and I'd come down and talk to my farmers, mates down here that were milking cows on, you know, Max Graham and Paul Jones and all them. And I was making as much money off my little wee 3 acres as they were making off their dairy farms. It was quite amazing, really.
200 hectares.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started dating? And perhaps...
Oh, probably when I was at high school.
And was that dating with Helen or dating
No, not at all. Just, so, you just, we used to love dancing, you know, and you just go to the dances. And
so where were the dances?
Kamara and Gladstone. Yep.
Yeah, they were huge events, weren't they?
They were. That was what you look for, you know, go to dances on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they were great dancers too.
So
good bands.
So your first date, do you remember your first date as a young man? Do you remember the first young thing you took out?
Oh, heck. Do I really need to have an answer to this one?
Right. Now listen, when did you meet Helen?
When did I meet Helen? Yes, I first laid eyes on Helen at a dance at Ross, actually.
Right.
And she was there with another fellow, and then she went out with a few other boys, but she was always edged in my heart. And then one night I met her at a dance at Gladstone, and she was by herself again. So I never let her go after that. Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time, isn't it?
It has. 53 years since we've been married.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Congratulations. That's a long time.
Yes.
And do you remember the first kind of formal date with Helen?
Never forgotten it. Yep.
Can you tell us about it?
Yep. I met her at this dance, and no, I won't tell you about that. But after that, we just dated. She was never out of my mind, you know, and we've had a lovely time together.
And people say that some people are lucky enough to end up with the love of their life.
Absolutely.
It'd be a fair comment?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So how would you describe Helen?
Helen is a home builder. Absolutely a home builder. She supports me in decisions I make, and we talk about things together, but in the end she supports what I want to do to achieve things. And when we bought, we've bought several rundown places in Nelson. When we went up there, we didn't have any money, really, to be quite honest. And we bought rundown dumps, and we've cleaned them up and come out of it. That I was able to retire when I was 59, and we've had a great retirement, which is. And Uncle Billy Amberger, I thought I was going to retire when I was about 50, and he says, "You can't do it yet, son. You got to wait. You got to wait." And in the end, when I was 59, he says, "Yeah, you can retire now, boy." So
Billy was a good guy, wasn't he?
He was a great uncle, and I must mention Uncle Bill that when we were on the farm at Crocodile, he was farming next door, and Uncle Bill and I did so many things together that with farming that we had a great relationship, and yes.
So going back to Helen, what do you, if you said there was a quality that I mean, I've been married 46 years, and and there's a quality, isn't there, that you most admire about your wife, and what would her quality be?
The quality would be that she's such a kind, loving person. To be quite honest, yeah, that would be. Yeah, and you can always trust her, she's always there backing you.
And so 53 years now married?
Yes.
So in another 10 years,
yep.
It'll be 60. You could do a long stint.
I'm going to stay alive first.
You're looking all right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, yep.
Now, so how many kids did you have?
3.
You had 3?
Yes.
And what do they do these days?
Glenn owns Para Rubber in Christchurch. Paula, we had twin girls. Paula owns her own dental practice in Nelson. And Karen, she married a banker, and they're over at Gold Coast, Runaway Bay over there, and working flat out for Westpac Bank so they can make millions of dollars profit. But they all have good quality of life.
There's no slugs in amongst that lot.
No, there's not.
Well, the apple never falls far from the tree.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the first day that your eldest child went to school? Can you remember that day?
Yes. Actually, he went to Appleby School, and it might have been the first day, but I remember the second or third day, we got a ring from the teacher to say, "Glenn's gone missing."
Oh,
so we all panicked and head straight for the river, and anyway, him and another boy decided to go down the river and throw stones in the river.
And this is on the first day?
Instead of getting on the bus, second or third day.
Oh, you're lucky you're lucky you had the breeding lines that had a bit of common sense in you.
That's right, yeah.
Did you meet your grandparents?
Absolutely.
And do you remember hearing them describe their lives?
Well, Dad's parents, well, actually, I was very lucky. The Ambergers lived right beside us.
Yep.
And, I'm sure I can tell you this story, but Fred Amberger, this is Billy's father, he used to breed a lot of roosters. And there used to be a lot of roosters come over from Canterbury at different times of the year, and they used to have the odd meeting down the back. And I've actually got some photos of it. So yes, I remember and Muriel Amberger, she was a calmback, and that was a big family on the coast too.
And were they were farmers, of course?
Absolutely, yep. And the calmbacks actually used to bring, they were butchers originally, and they used to bring animals over the Browning Pass, I think it was, and sell them to down Harry, the miners, or wherever it was. That's how they got started.
And that was for food?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest person you can recall meeting? Because apparently we're getting older now, but
yeah.
You met any old ones out the valley?
Oh, yeah. And from those old days?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I was talking to Coxie today, and she said Sam Godfrey was a real old guy, and Sam Godfrey and I actually blew stumps at Raft Creek where Steve and Pauline work farming now. When I used to work with John Sutherland doing a bit of ploughing and all that sort of thing to make a few more bob, and Sam come there and blew the stumps, black pine stumps there, and I helped him do it.
So would Sam be related to the likes of Frank and?
He's their father.
Oh, their father.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Right, Frank and Ray. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. During you've seen a lot of changes in your life, and as you've been around a wee while, what are the most important inventions that you've seen? The invention that you've seen that's had an impact on you that's been very positive?
The farming, the scene has changed so much that I've got a batch down the Sounds, and there's a little farming community called Linkwater, which is very similar to being at Kokatahi. And when we first arrived here, the next door neighbour, one of the farmers was making hay, and I said, oh, he's making hay, I'll go down and give him a hand, you know. So I went down there and I said to Jim, you know, what can I do to help you? He said, well, actually, there's nothing, Murray, because he baled the hay, and then he had these big round bales, and he just got the tractor with the forks on and put it on. And that was the end of sort of community sort of spirit that used to be so important. In the early days, you know, we used to always go and help anybody make hay, you know, especially if it was rain coming in. And but now there's no community. It's all so different.
That's really interesting, because up until that point, all of you would get together.
Absolutely.
And then after that point, of course, yeah, that's interesting. Can you remember the first time you saw a television?
Yes.
When was that?
Yep. My father, when he shifted into town, sold the farm and shifted into Kokatahi, he had a TV. And that was the first time we used to go and watch the snowy picture and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Did you always have a fridge?
Yes. Yep. I can remember the first fridge we got at Crocodile in the house. I remember the first washing machine too. In the early days we used to use the copper and the old board and the blue dye and the water and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about your dad's first car? Can you remember that? Or
yes, he had a Model A.
Was it?
Yep, Model A, and I can remember, you know, we used to plough the paddocks with the horses, and then your dad take the Model A out to brush the seed, and, you know, make up a brush, and you used to go around the Model A, and he'd stop every now and again and feel the radiator to make sure she wouldn't get too hot and that.
Was it in good nick?
Yes, yep.
And what about you? What was your first adventure into a set of wheels?
I bought a Morris pickup truck, a van. It was a van actually, and then I bought a V-Dub soon after that to do an AV run, and that was a great car. Yep.
So the old Morris would have been 1100 or 1000?
No, it was only it was a minor.
Oh, Morris minor.
Yeah, 859. Yeah, she was.
With the low lights or the?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
I know the model.
You know the model.
And the flat cylinder head.
That's right.
And when you had to change your head gasket, it'd take about 12 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How's the world different today than what it was when you were a child?
How's the world different?
Yeah.
I think the technology today has just changed the way young people are. And one big thing that does get me is the respect. We used to have respect for our elders when we were young. Now today, it's just not there. It's just not there. There are a lot of good kids out there, but there's so many people that just have no respect for our police. It's just so, it does upset me actually.
Yeah. So during the course of your life, have you come across a person who changed the way you thought, in a positive way, who changed your direction, who had a real influence on you?
Yes, there'd be several of them, but probably Brian Ford, a gentleman that I worked for on the town supply farm up there. He was a very religious man, and some of his thoughts rubbed off me, because we were always brought up at Kokatahi. We had the church across the road.
Yep.
We always went to church on Sunday, and that's what you did in those days, you know. But you sort of drifted away from it as your life sort of changed, I suppose. But Brian had a good influence on me, for sure.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
What about Pat Amberger? Bill Amberger?
Oh.
Well, you know, did Bill impact on the way that you did things?
Absolutely, absolutely. Even when we shifted to Nelson, Uncle Bill would come up and help us on the market garden, and he'd bring Coxie's son Gareth up with him, and we had just so much fun. And we used to sit down and do a lot of talking up until the night, and because it was quite sad. My father didn't live to an old age. He got myelofibrosis and finished up in hospital here until the end of the Western Hospital, really.
Yeah.
Dad passed away just before they sort of pulled it down, to tell you the truth.
And how old was he when he passed away?
67.
Not very old.
Young man.
Yeah.
He really was. Yeah. So that was quite sad, but even though we lived in Nelson, we still give Dad as much time as we could spare at that time, and always talked on the phone and that sort of thing, kept in touch. Yeah.
So, is there a time in your life where you would describe as the best time of your life, the place where you were just absolutely happy, you know, a place that I guess it's nirvana, but you know?
I think probably through the 30s with their children, probably before they went to high school. When we first started market gardening, we was working for people and trying to run this place as well. In the end, I made the decision that I'd give up and have a go working on an account on this market garden.
Yep.
We used to have a roadside stall, and 50% of the stuff used to get pinched.
Yep.
Not paid for, and anyway, I said to Helen one day, I said, we're going to empty out the garage and build a shop on this place. And from that day on, we never looked back. We doubled our turnover every year.
And you got paid for it all?
We got paid for the lot, yeah. That was a turning point for us, yeah.
The you've done a bit of travelling?
Yes, we've travelled the world,
Where's
which I never ever thought I'd do, living out of Kokatahi as a young one.
Where's a place that you visited where you go, that place is just beautiful?
We were very lucky that we could afford to take our children when Glenn was 12 and the twins were 10. We took them to Disneyland.
Right.
On a Californian children's tour. And that was just an amazing holiday. Even the kids today still talk about that trip.
Must have been a beauty.
It was just amazing, yeah.
There'll be a lot of young coasters out there at the moment who will be interested in this, because the young ones are much more interested than some of us old ones give them credit for. If there's a lesson out there that you learned that you could convey, what would it be?
Lesson.
Something that you could say to a group of young ones. Here's something that.
Yeah. There's so many things, I think, but probably always keep respect and
It's respect, isn't it?
Respect for things and appreciate what you do have, because when we were young, it was never even a thought that you'd be able to go and travel the world. Where young people today, they jump on a plane and go all around the world without blinking an eye. You know, for us it was a dream. That's it.
Yeah, you have been the driving force behind the Coasters reunions in Nelson, which have got stronger every year. And in fact, you've had some amazing speakers. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I took this job on about 6 years ago. Jeff Patterson and his wife were doing it up till then, and Jeff became ill and couldn't carry on. He is still alive, but his wife Joan has passed away. So I looked around the room and I thought, I need a good secretary that is computer literate, and I spotted Shona over there, being another Kokatahi girl. I went over to Shona and I said, I'll take this job on if you'll be the secretary. And she looked at me and says, I'd love to. So that's where a relationship developed with Shona.
Yeah.
And she is just a fantastic person. Nothing's a problem, you know. So the Coasters thing has really been a passion of mine, and I just want to take it to another step where we've got our generation, but a lot of them are getting older and passing away on us, and I want to bring the next generation into it, and I don't know how to do it. So if anybody is watching this has got any ideas, please ring me and let me know.
What number can they ring you on?
They can ring me on my local number up there. It's 03 544 6807.
So what was it again?
544 6807.
And so they can ring you. And so what you're looking at is saying, okay, we've got this older group, say 80s and 70s.
That's right.
And you're looking for 50s and 60s.
For our siblings to come through.
Yeah.
And to get them involved.
Nelson's full of them, Murray.
I know. I've got 6 West Coasters living in our street. And they're in Tollymar Street, and there's 6 West Coasters living in that street.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is. It's a great street, I tell you.
Well, look, that's a very good call for arms for a lot of the young ones out there.
Yes.
And what do? You have an annual dinner?
No. We start at 1 o'clock, and we have. How does it go? Right, I introduce myself, and then I go around and say, who's been here for the first time? And we have a mic. I walk around, and they introduce themselves, say where they come from, keep it short, and tell a little story about themselves. And it's always half, 3/4 of an hour taken up with people just telling stories.
Yep.
And then we introduce our speaker, and they talk for 3/4 of an hour.
Who was your last speaker?
Julie Christie.
Dame Julie Christie?
Dame Julie Christie.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And she was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it's thrilled to get people of that calibre. And Shona said to me the other day, who are you getting for next year? And I said, I haven't worked that out yet, but anybody's got a good speaker, please let me know.
Well, look, you've had Coxie up there.
Yes.
And she was really popular. Who else have you had?
Durham Hamill's been up there.
Oh, yes, he did too.
The Graham Mayor, Tony Cruikshank.
Yeah.
Rion Murphy.
What was he like?
He was fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. And, we've had the ex-mayor from Westport.
Pat O'Day?
Pat O'Day come up.
Right.
Yeah, he spoke very well too. It was really good. And we tried to sort of have somebody from a different part of the coast each year to sort of, keep interesting,
Yeah,
But Dame Julie, everybody just wanted to come and see her anyway, it was just marvellous. So
she's performed unbelievably well, hasn't she? She really has. But well, look, that'll be Helen.
No, it's not. It's actually, this is actually the guy that bought our market garden in Nelson, Gavin Williams, and once again, I'm associated with so many West Coasters up there.
Yeah.
Gavin's father was a miner in Grey, and he shifted away from the coast after Strongman Mine. He was working there, and shifted up, and he became a market gardener too. So it was interesting that I, in those early days, used to work with his father. We always had roadside stalls. We used to sort of help each other and that.
Yep.
And then Gavin came along and bought our place, and he and I work so well together now. I still go out to the place and think it's mine,
Well,
telling what he should do.
You're keeping it in the Coast family.
Absolutely.
And
Gavin's a really top guy. Yeah.
Now, Murray, anything else that we can discuss? Because Coasters, you'll be following this series, and you'll be able to see the full video on the Coasters Club YouTube channel. You'll see this interview divided into 5 separate interviews over the next several weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you want to...
Yes, there's 2 people that I've known very well, Coasters. One was Carl Trelin, that lived up at Bell Hill, and he was an outstanding man. He shifted to Nelson and made a real name for himself up there, and I got to know Carl very well. And another guy that passed away just recently, I was talking to him at Provis on the Wednesday. On the Thursday morning, he got out of bed and went and had a shower, had a bit of a coughing fit, and tipped over dead. And Alan Roberts was his name, and he was actually a bulldozer driver working up at Bell Hill, and he ended up flying 747s all around the world.
Oh, wow.
Exceptional man. And those 2 guys that really stick in my mind, actually, of late, and I was lucky to be associated with them.
We've had a few 747 pilots off the coast. I mean, one of the Eddies was a captain.
Yes.
Pat, I think.
Oh, yes.
Pat Eady, and so we've been pretty lucky. But look, Murray, what can I say? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Coasters, I hope you enjoy this interview. And Murray, keep up the good work in Nelson, because God, you're doing a great job.
Well, I just love the coast, and when we're driving down here, we say we're going home, and then we leave here, we're going home too. So we're very lucky people. You know,
I love it. All right, well, we'll catch you later.
Thank you very much.